Before we jump into this, I know I'm several episodes late, but this is something that I have to state, not because I feel like I was completely wrong, but just because I know I'm mostly wrong. I got Mayhem and Typhoid Mary mixed up where there is a character in the comics tied into Bridget Riley about certain things, but the way she was coded in a lot of areas is like Typhoid Mary. Hence why the big confusion, and also because a lot of fans were speculating that at the time because, well, the knowledge of Mayhem, the character, wasn't so readily available. But we only found out about this because of the time we're recording this. We were looking into rumors that Sydney Sink is allegedly going to be Typhoid Mary, even though they already have an actress for it from a different property. But now that I got that out of the way, this is it, everyone. This is the final episode of Cloak and Dagger Weekly. And I'm recording this after ending a 4-year live campaign for things from one of the 3 businesses that are technically under my name. And change is weird. Change is very weird. As we're trying to look into stuff for Level Up, which is also tying into Ty and Tandy's overall level up for power. And this is the last time Shannon's going to be going into Cloak and Dagger blindly.
I can't believe I finished this.
I know, it's craziness. So, preamble, there aren't any things of a light force, dark force split narrative for this episode. Everything is pretty congruent for a lot of things, and there is a denouement sequence. It's mostly, though, just a Cloak and Dagger narrative, which we have no segue for. So, let's just talk about the episode, Shan.
Yes.
So, the episode is picking up technically not with Tandy and Tyrone, but with a robbery in progress from, I think, an all-women's squad of bank robbers. Although one of the robbers and a few cops, I think 1 or 2, end up getting transported into Despair's nightclub. Actually, that kind of sounds a little metal, I'm not going to fucking lie. But we finally kick off the episode with Cloak and Dagger just looking at Andre's body because his physical form is dead. Him as the being has transcended into what he thinks is a god. It's a fear lord. We'll address that in a overall video whenever I feel like making it, like how I'm eventually going to do that Merlin video. So they're just like, hey, we're going to need to make a plan because Tandy's mom, who is alive for some reason, should not be alive when you look at the evidence.
Still confused by it.
And all those other women are basically in Despair's nightclub. He basically was what Bill Cosby thinks that he was the entire time. Anywho, they're trying to look into how to get some answers, so they turn to Tyrone's fuck buddy, distraction of Evita. Because Tandy's just like, hey, that was your girl. And I'm just like, Tandy, you're his girl. We've been over this. You've met his family. You've been to his house. You ate dinner with him. You introduced him to your mom. He found out about your secret trauma, about how your dad was a wife beater and therefore a domestic abuse person. He knows all of your secrets. He basically saw you naked one time. Y'all been holding hands inappropriately for who knows how long. Daddy is your man.
You guys have been inside one another.
Pause.
I had to do it, I'm sorry.
But we got Evita, now married to Baron Samedi, to do this whole rigmarole to get them to go back into the world of shadows, as I'm going to call it for a while. We're in the world...
Honestly, that fits.
Oh, yeah. Within the world of shadows, there has been this device, basically a plot turner, not a plot point or plot device, a plot turner. It is a very niche term that rarely comes up, where a plot turner is a narrative device to allow the characters to turn a corner to match up towards where the story is coming from, or using it as a vehicle to explore certain things on an emotional conflict level. This plot turner was basically a viewer, basically a telescope viewer that you would have for giant dams or bridges to look downwards at the beauty of nature, or through Niagara Falls if you don't want to go on a boat tour. And when it's destroyed, there is an emotional breakdown from Tandy, because Tandy is the easiest one to break because she's highly emotional. Many might say she's emotionally unstable because she is not as mature with her overall internal world the same way Tyrone is, because reasons. So Tyrone basically is telling him, like, chill, baby, we got this, and then she's still just fussing and fighting till they end up at where they need to go, to then finally be at the mall where they end up in their iconic outfit that when we were watching, I had to do the whole joke of, Shan, I thought you said you uninstalled Marvel Rivals. What the hell?
My bad.
Like, we were being told by Galactica that there is now a capture the flag mission or a battle royale about to pop off. I was not
Capture the mission.
I was not ready to all of a sudden play a second strategist to the first strategist on the battlefield. And why is there no healer? Why is there no Mantis?
Hey, in all fairness, though, to real life, when I was playing Rivals, Cloak and Dagger was one of my mains. So you know what? I'm tired of this shit.
Anywho, so they go into the mall to go to the record store. There's nothing in there. There's no Gladys Knight and the Pips. There's no Supremes on their solo thing. There's no Rolling Stones. There's no Beatles. There's no Fleetwood Mac.
There's nothing.
Not a damn thing. Or the records filled with women suffering. But I was mostly upset about there being no bands here, because that's what I came here for. Not to relive people's trauma and misery. I'm not here to listen to Linkin Park. Anywho, they find Despair's nightclub, which is in the back of the record store. Okay. And he's just playing one song on repeat. Just one song. It's as bad as a Meghan Trainor concert. Anywho, he's just playing the same old tired-ass song when Tandy and Tyrone kind of bust in, and he's just like, villain monologue. I'm just gonna say no geeks can play on my stage with me. But
then, you know, Tandy throws a dagger at him.
As one does.
Yep, but then Tandy disappears.
And then Tyrone tries to jump a disabled man. You know, saying that out loud does not make it seem alright. Anywho, he tries...
It's just as bad as when we were watching this show the first time during Black People,
Black History Month?
Thank you. I couldn't think of what it's called. I was like, what is it?
Black People Heritage Month was what you were gonna say, wasn't it?
I was, and I was like, that wasn't right. I was like, what is the word I'm thinking of here? I'm glad you're laughing. I'm over here in disgust.
But anyway, tries to jump this man who has chronic migraines and it is a unalive survivor. And then this man blows Tyrone. Now what you think? To then have him...
get your mind out of the gutters.
Who then has him transport into an alternate dimension of sorts, to where he's basically in a different locale as Tandy, because this is where level up becomes the terminology to set the stage for the episode. They're facing their inner demons in a way that they need to ascend to greater heights. Because unlike adult heroes, they're teenagers. This is a coming-age story, not just as heroes, but as young adults transitioning from childhood to adulthood. So it's not going to be just punches and kicks and flips and all the stuff you get from an action sequence, even though they have those in abundance. It's more about exploring their trauma, their pain, their hurdles to have them grow as people, which is more of what you'd expect from teen superheroes. Something I wish Kevin would explore with Young Avengers properly, or in a lot of the Disney Plus shows, but that's a bridge we'll cross someday. So, Tandy's big hurdle is her father, which I will let Shan get into for a minute, because Tyrone's enemy is the perfect self that he's been talking about ever since season 1, when he first had a real heart-to-heart with Tandy before she decided to run her fucking mouth and thought that, I'm a white woman, so you as a black man in America, especially in the South, we have the same pain and problems, so I could talk down to you as if we're both struggling. No, Tandy, no, you still have privilege because you come from a family of wealth for background, and Tyrone is still black in America. Two different fucking things, baby. You gotta sit the fuck down. So, Shan, why don't you explore the thing with Tandy first before I get into Tyrone's whole thing?
Sure. So, daddy issues, am I right? So, Tandy basically disappears after throwing the dagger at Andre. And for what I thought initially was going to be the motel, because in the area that she was going to be in, because she just had a traumatic situation there. It wasn't. It was her home, to where she's obviously searching out for either Ty or her mom, but who shows up instead is her father. Now, I couldn't tell you the dialogue conversations between the two, but basically, for what I gathered was Tandy was trying to, confront him and talk down to him and trying to get out of the situation. Every single time she would throw a dagger at him, it wouldn't affect him any, because as he's already stated that he is already dead, so her little daggers won't affect him. So she tries to fight him off, to where, in Vince, please correct me if I'm wrong, doesn't she try to run away and then she ends up going to the next location?
Yeah, but also this is where I have a complaint when it comes to Tandy's thing, if you will.
Go ahead.
So, as many people may not know, I've been going to therapy for a couple of years. It's been doing wonders on my mental health to make better choices. But the thing about how Tandy solves her problem isn't really the most healthy in retrospect, because we all have shitty parents. I could tell you a lot of stories, and we all have shitty families, in some regards or another. The best way to confront those demons isn't to always hold the vilification towards that parent, regardless of what happened, because Tandy has memories where even when her dad was villainous to his wife, he was always trying with the daughter, even if it wasn't the best method. He was flawed and he was scum. You can have that anger for it, but you're still half of that parent. So the ending conclusion of it, where it was more of an aggressive confrontation to just be more aggressive towards that section, is also still reflective in how Tandy is repulsed by a piece of herself that she'll never come to terms with, which is what will always make her emotionally unstable. Always with that emotional instability to no longer have a connection, to be emotionally mature, centered, and grounded. And that's something I've always had a slight issue with in this episode. But that's just my thing. You are correct, though, from what you're stating. I just wanted to give my 2 cents.
Respectfully, I agree, and I appreciate it. So after she leaves the house, she goes to the secondary location, which you should never go to a secondary location. If you don't understand that reference, watch John Mulaney. Anyways, um, get your money clips. And anyway, so she then all of a sudden shows up at the pot house, which literally in my notes I say, why are we back at the pot house? And at this moment, like, Tandy and Ty can kind of communicate between the two, despite the fact they're not together in the moment. So I was trying to pay attention to everything going on, but Tandy at this moment, she's trying to find Ty. Like, that's pretty much the only reason why we're here. Um, so they keep going to locations to try to get closer to one another, like, follow my voice type of situation. So she ends up going to the pot house for a quick moment to then going to the next location, which is a third location, back to the motel. And I'm like, you son of a bitch.
Which
I
you
don't want to
still
be
should
here.
never do. You should never go to another location.
No,
Street
secondary is
smarts!
bad. Third's worse. Street smarts. So, exactly. Um, so yeah, we end up going to the motel to try to find Ty some more. And now I'm going to let Vince go back to Ty's perspective because then something else happens and I can't say it.
So, when Ty has to face his perfect ideological self, it is, much like many things, him trying to fight against it physically rather than trying to confront it on an actual note of coming to terms with you can't be perfect. And that is the ultimate metaphor. Ty is so guilt riddled with everything, with how things went with Billy, how things went that day. He'll always be stuck in that moment to where that's where his mind and his overall unsettled emotions have a precedence. Because of it, Ty being super aggressive towards this ideological version of himself that he's held on to for so many years as a security blanket, and him developing into the adult he's slowly turning into, it is a conflict where him trying to push against it is making it more of a violent outcome. But while he's trying to confront this in the wrong direction, the same way that Tandy is, he's being led through certain avenues where he's first in the family house that we've been introduced to since the very first season. Then we go to the police station where it's Tyrone living out the life that he would potentially have been in a different timeline according to the record that was played during the Tandy focused episode a few episodes ago. And then slowly transitioning into a meeting point, into a neutral zone for the two of them, of Tandy and Tyrone, to come face to face with despair. Where, picking up where Shan left off, this is where the two of them think that the best way to solve their solution is for both of them to face the other's problem.
So they switch.
And so Tandy goes after perfect Tyrone, and Tyrone goes after
Tandy's father.
I keep forgetting like his first name.
Yeah,
Lowen?
it's not important.
Whatever. Goes after Tandy's dad to go back inside Tandy, to face off against her father, to try and psychologically attack him before physically beating the shit out of him like he did those people at the motel. Still the biggest highlight of why are these two strategists when Cloak got them hands. So him just trying to address the fact that Mr. Bowen is basically a woman abuser, and how he never chose to fight men because he preys on women, is the sole thing that's going into the effect. Again, mostly trying to do the construct of this demonized version of someone you just found out about that's recontextualizing things is not really the best way to gain closure and perspective into the person. Because it's easy to... I know I'm getting like into a lot of big things for like the psychological aspect, Shan. I know that's not the point of this whole entire weekly thing that we do, but I feel like it's good to address. You can always accept people's downfalls, their overall bad habits, and their bad personality choices, and still be respectful of, like, you may have been these things, you may have done all these things, but despite all of them, when the chips were set for you to be this monster towards myself, you did show me these nuggets of kindness, and I accept that, even if you weren't the ideological person that I'm looking for. That ideal version of myself I've held on to you is shattered, but I can accept that there is more to you in the complexity. There is more to you than just you were this, you were that. And I accept you even if I'm not able to forgive your choices. I love you even if you have disappointed me in my journey. And that's something that, again, with Tandy's demonization of it and her feeding it into Ty, it's not a good look from that perspective. The same way that with Tandy in the other perspective just trying to be like, oh, let me just do all this positive reinforcement to then surge into the whole thing. It's not really enough for a person to tell another person how great and grand that they are, because that's not going to fix the problem. Shan could have a miserable day, and I could tell my baby sister a lot of great stuff about her. It won't fix anything until she's able to say some really beneficial stuff that's true about herself to help her move past a bad situation, a bad road that she is on. It's good to get encouragement, but it means more when you're ready to put in the work to understand the journey that you're on, the road that you're traveling, and that's more important. And it's also why I'm going to address that point in a minute. I'm going to put a pin in that as Shan's going to talk about the stuff of what Tandy was doing.
Right. So, as you know, they switch places. And so Tandy starts to fight off Perfect Ty, which I think is a funny name, but whatever. And she's putting, punches to him and stuff. And he's trying to, like, downgrade her and, like, tell her, like, you can't beat me and blah, blah, blah. And she's like, well, actually, you know what? She goes, I know Ty and he wouldn't do any of this stuff and, like, and things and, like, downgrading him and talking shit, which I respect. I support women's rights and wrongs. And she was completely right in the sense. And so they're fighting it off. He starts to run away after escaping the cops because they had him kind of like, I don't know what that position is, but they had a hold on him anyway. And he like poofs away and starts running away. Well, as Tandy starts chasing Perfect Ty, Andre becomes a cockblock to where they go back to like this room when they're kind of like in a daze because they're still trapped in their own like psychological minds and stuff. To where Tandy has to go back to try to facing her fears, which is her father in this case, in the motel room. I think it was a motel room.
It was the motel room.
Her father comes back and like starts talking to her and stuff, and she's like, you know what? Fuck you, man. I don't want to talk to you or have to deal with you. Goodbye. And basically just go ahead.
I was just trying to be like, no, you're pretty spot on how that went. Keep going.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. Because then she goes back to Andre.
As for
Did I miss anything?
No, not really. I already addressed my complaint about the whole Tandy thing. Because in the heat of the moment, when you're seeing, it's like, yeah, you give them that work. You then got to also think about the bigger picture and the longer road ahead. It's not worth just holding on to aggression like that. It's never good for your health overall. I get it in the moment, but eventually down the road, Tandy will have to have a healthier outlook to move forward. But for Tyrone facing Perfect Ty, Despair decides to put a Tyrone in like a fabric closet, I think. I don't know, there's like a lot of fabrics, a lot of cloak fabric things. I don't know why we're here. I don't know, man. It make no sense. I would have taken him to the pier. It was like a whole metaphor for how he's perpetually stuck on the night that Billy died. I would have taken him to the place where he saw Dwayne get shot, that warehouse. I would have taken him to the rooftop where he swallowed up that one cop to go inside his cloak. I would have chosen a lot of different locales. Why are we in a cloak closet? Why are we in a fabric room? What the fuck, Despair? Where Ty, although puts up a fight, is able to verbalize the one thing that people who suffer from the perfectionist syndrome about how they need to operate in life, how they need to move in different directions, to truly address the big situation. That he doesn't need to be perfect. He doesn't need to be this ideal self to be a success, to be this and the third thing. He knows he has baggage, but he's outgrown that whole viewpoint of himself to put this to rest, to absorb that whole construct of himself, to have it fully just flush back into him, to fully level up, as we are addressing, because both of them get power-ups. Tyrone might have better control of the Dark Force to where maybe those shadow tendrils he'll summon at will. Maybe he'll be able to teleport longer distances. Maybe he'll be able to do some stuff in the comics that writers are too afraid to address. Who knows? Tandy gets a sword.
A dagger-looking sword.
I'm starting to think that Tyrone is the truly powerful one in this relationship, but regardless.
Andy's trying her best, man.
I know, but it's just like, Ty gets these godlike powers. Tandy, I can make a dagger, a sword, a ball, and when I touch you, you feel good. What? Huh? What?
Pause.
Huh?
Pause.
Anywho, once they're able to free themselves from their mental gymnastics, well, Tyrone in the best sense, I'm still just like, hey, Tandy, we gonna need to take it to therapy, baby. This is not healthy. They're finally in Despair's club, the nightclub of Despair. God, that sounds so fucking metal. To where they're finally able to face the big bad who's just been playing the same damn song the whole fucking time. I don't know why the people are in this nightclub just so captivated. Just, damn, this one song on repeat is so good. Hasn't
Why are you booing me?
I'm right! So now they're able to fight, but this man with a trumpet, he just blowing everybody. Not like that. To where they're just no longer able to really do much until Tandy's like, wait a minute. Chronic migraines. I shoot light balls at people. I'll just flash him. Not like that. By shooting
Get
a
your
ball
minds
in his face.
out of the gutter.
So she launches a ball into his face. Not like that. To make
Not
him
like that.
get ringing in his ears, because a lot of high concentrated light hitting people with chronic migraines, believe me, I can tell you, will cause irreparable damage to the ocular lenses, but also cause tinnitus, which ruptures the brain in a certain locale. So then she's just like, okay, now if I'm able to do this and he's gonna phase through my attacks, I'm gonna throw my daggers to stab people in the audience. Not kill them. Very specific. Even though she's killed a lot of people at this point using her daggers. And no, there's no explanation. Just follow us on this. So, throws the daggers through Despair to hit a lot of the people in the audience. Mostly Mina, who was transported here from a different narrative we'll talk about, and Tandy's mom, who's still alive for some reason. How?
So confused by it.
I don't know, man. We've seen Aunt May die 3 times. We've seen fucking...
When the fuck did we watch Aunt May die 3 times?
There was Insomniac Spider-Man when I played the game for Norwegian Spider-Man. There was the comic books Aunt May, who died from a bullet wound that apparently no one can cure, because they're just like, I'm a super genius, but I can't cure a bullet wound. There was the hottest Aunt May of Marissa Tomei. That was the main reason a lot of adults went to watch the Tom Holland Spider-Man, if we're honest.
I mean...
let me just be frank. So we have all those things. We have every other person dying left and right, like Quicksilver dies from a bullet wound. Where, man, I wish we could save him. He died from bullets. Just take the bullets out. Do some transfusions and some shit. We got futuristic science. Yeah, I wish we could save him. You made sentient life twice. Yep, we can't save him from bullet wounds. The fuck are y'all talking about? Can't save him from bullet wounds.
Nova, if you're watching this episode, I'm so sorry in advance.
I'm just saying, when you really just break it down, Marvel's like, we could cure all these problems. Bullet wounds, that's a tough one.
Man.
That's a tough one. Like, Shan, if you were like, I got shot in the foot, help me. Well, you're dead already. No, just take the bullet out. Sorry, ma'am. Gotta take it to the morgue. It's just a bullet in my foot. Take the bullet out. Well, we knew the citizen well. I'm sorry the Avengers couldn't help you. It's a bullet in my foot.
Take it out.
Well, let's just put the body on ice and get the autopsy ready. Just the dumbest fucking thing. Anyway, back to the fight. I had to get on that tangent because it makes no sense. So after Tandy stabs people to life, that's a sentence I just said.
That's something.
She and Tyrone are trying to find a way to beat the brakes off of Andre Duchesne, aka Despair. But the best thing that they could do is just have Tandy throw balls in his face. Not like that. To have him get severe migraines, and then after Tyrone decides to swallow up Tandy,
Pause.
he then decides to have her jump out of him, pause, to
That's a sentence.
stab Andre with her light dagger sword. And they win after all of the women when Tandy threw roughly 3 to 4 daggers on screen. Off screen apparently threw a lot more. We only saw 3 to 4 daggers. I counted. And all of a sudden, every woman is freed from his possessed charm to basically stand behind him. Not really help much until after the fight's already done to just gently grab his arms. So the 2 teenagers could just go inside this grown man, pause, and have him live out his greatest pain on repeat. And that's how 2 teenage superheroes win a fight against a disabled man.
You know, when you put it like that, that's pretty pathetic.
Yes. At the same time as let's have an alcoholic with PTSD fight an incel who's a drug addict, who's also with the disease, aka Iron Man 3. Anyway. So, we're having you guys hear us talk about all this stuff from Cloak and Dagger stuff, but obviously there's stuff with Evita doing some voodoo magic stuff. So what's going on that front? Honestly, not much. It's just...
We honestly don't really see much.
She's just using voodoo magic on a candle, which is used mostly in tandem with Legba's crossroad charms. Not curses, charms. Big difference in Voodoo and Houdon. But apparently, the Despair is summoning people to eradicate the mambo that is trying to keep the pathway open. Instead of just, trying to use a gust of wind to blow out the candle and have that be the drama and the tension. No, we gotta throw in some combat action because we're not having a lot of it with the main characters. Which allows Mayhem to defend Evita. How did she get here? So anyway, she starts beating the brakes off these people that are both constructs of dead individuals and just manifestations of people's emotions. Mostly it's Mayhem also having to deal with Bridget feels guilt over the death of her deceased boyfriend of Fuchs, even though that wasn't her fault, nor was it Tyrone's fault or Tandy's fault. That was just because Connors didn't want to go to jail.
Yep.
So afterwards, she blows up her ex-boyfriend after making out with him.
It is how it sounds.
That's a solution, I guess. And then after Tyrone and Tandy defeat Despair, they walk out of a portal from a goddamn hoodie that Evita ruined.
And left there to be ruined.
Bitch. We then have it where it's Evita gives Tyrone a knowing stare of like, I miss you, bitch. Get my hoodie off from the ground. You have nails in. Well, I should probably go. Let me blow out the candle. What about my fucking hoodie on the ground? Bitch. And then Tandy's talking to Bridget about, so are we good? Like what's going on? Oh, I was just defending Evita. Okay, can I get a favor though? What the favor be? I just need a simple favor. Okay. And then we don't really know what the favor is until we get to the denouement. The denouement is basically epilogue or foreword, whichever definition you want to go with. It's basically just the after events of a story. Yes, I'm using French, and yes, I feel disgusting. Shan, you want to go over what happened after all the events happened here from the season to wrap up before we get to the end? Do you remember all of it?
Well, the thing is, so are you talking about with Mayhem's like?
No. I mean, favor? Like everything involved, like the whole season wrap up of things. Like, do you remember everything? Because you could talk about what Mayhem's favor is specifically if you don't remember everything else.
I'd rather talk about her favor, I'll be honest.
Fair enough. So in the denouement, we're focusing on a lot of stuff where Tandy's mom is alive still. I know people are like, why are you guys harping on the fact this woman is alive? Medically speaking, she shouldn't be.
The only other thing to talk about this, the only thing I can think of is because we saw, like, these people kept getting, like, disappearing and poofing away. Maybe she, like, was thinking about doing what she was doing, and that's why Tandy saw, like, the empty pill bottle. Maybe she never actually did it, but it's like, why the fuck is it empty, though? She's gotta do something.
Yeah, it's just, there's so many weird questions on that front of, like, so what? I'm so lost. Either way,
what are we doing here?
I don't know. That whole plot thread is confusing for me. So Tandy is packing up her suitcase for something in the denouement. We don't know for where or for why, because no season 3. We're never getting to know where they were originally going. And Tyrone is exonerated because apparently the pastor handed over the information to the FBI. It was behind the scenes stuff, so don't worry about it. But Tyrone's mom is gonna carry the guilt of like, oh, I just killed the man who killed my eldest son and tried to frame my little baby for murder. I should be happy about this, but I feel so guilty. Maybe it's the Christian guilt. Or something, I don't know. So, then from that part of the denouement, we're only finding out about a few of these things from Tyrone teleporting throughout Louisiana's New Orleans city district and seeing all this stuff, to even see that the drug dealers are trying to not pick up stuff of unconscious kids in the back seat of some creep-ass's car, which is sadly a normal thing in New Orleans. I've sadly seen it when you leave the main strip. It's very, very disturbing. And it's baby steps to having a better community of, like, let's not do these horrific things. Like, we can't end crime, because crime is embedded into our DNA of good and bad. We can't stop crime, because corruption breeds crime. Corruption breeds the desire of people trying to find alternative methods to make money, even if it's inhumane and destructive behavior. Because we have a system in play that corrupts those of the have-nots to want what the haves have. So we're perpetuating a cycle of destruction. This is a very introspective episode, and I'm not apologizing for it. So from all these different things, It then wraps up from Ty's perspective of how he's checking in on the city one last time and seeing Evita go towards the grave of Andre Duché. Also, Leah's in prison, but who cares about Leah? We're just like, how are you still alive, if we're honest? And now we're going to have Shan address the favorite for Mayhem.
So, as we see throughout the whole entire season 2, specifically, after the whole Mayhem, like, merge thing, separation happened, you kept always seeing Bridge going to this, like, shooting range to try to practice, like, her shooting, which obviously she sucks because of everything that's happened to her. She has no aim. Well, and I won't go over detail because it can be traumatizing for some people, so trigger warning, but let's just say we see her messing with a rope at the shooting range, not to herself, and some cops come in to the shooting range after she's already done what she's done, and you see the body of, what's his face?
Connors?
Of Connors, thank you. And it has a sign on him that says guilty.
Yeah, I can never watch that scene.
Yeah.
Anywho, you're probably all just wondering, so how does the series end with Tyrone and Tandy getting on a bus to leave New Orleans because they have a lead to go someplace? Where? We don't know. But apparently there were dead women there because Mayhem Bridget gave over intel about some things happening. It might be tied to Jessica Jones, it might not be. Might be tied to an Avengers event, might not be. We don't know! But also kind of ends with a repeat thing from what we talked about episodes ago about waffles or pancakes.
Waffles. Duh.
And we all end on the whole cliffhanger of where are they going? What's going to happen? Are Tyrone and Tandy going to officially start dating? Because they're basically soulmates in a romantic sense.
They were holding hands!
So what's going to be the story? We don't know. It just ends. It just fucking ends.
So rude.
And so, yeah, that is not only Level Up the episode, Season 2 episode, I want to say a 10? 10?
10.
Alright, 10. Just gonna double check real quick. Because I'm not saying you're a liar. I just didn't remember numbers. So, yeah, episode 10, season 2. So, full-blown 20th episode of Marvel's Cloak and Dagger. We won't see Cloak and Dagger again except for one episode in The Runaways, which
Word?
Disney got rid of because they're just like, we don't want people to know about this Hulu original. We're going to send it to Tubi. And you're just like, why? We don't want people to know that this is canon. Years later. So, Cloak and Dagger are kind of canon, because the Dark Force is in Wonder Man, and Roxxon is in Wonder Man. So, Cloak and Dagger are in the MCU, guys. But what about the Runaways? What about them? Cloak and Dagger met the Runaways. And? You're saying Cloak and Dagger are canon? Yes! And also, Typhoid Mary is canon because you're introducing the Defenders in Daredevil Born Again. Yes! What about the Runaways? What about them? Kevin has a gun to your head, doesn't he? Maybe! Okay, this is great. But, I've been yapping a lot this episode for a lot of different reasons, because I have big feelings about this show. It tackles a lot of big topics, a lot of things that Kevin could never. But this is not only me to just do a whole diatribe. I've done a whole lot of that this episode. This is time for Shan to give her thoughts about just not only the episode, but the series in and of itself. So let's start with Level Up, and then the series as a whole, for you.
Okay, so I thought the finale episode of this season, and the show in general, I liked it a lot. I thought it was a nice, kind of end. I feel like they left us on a cliffhanger. I don't know the logic behind that. I don't know if they were in hopes that there was going to be a season 3 and then they just decided to have it and then they decided to cancel it, or what the plans were there, but I overall I really did enjoy this episode. In fact, I remember at one point we looked at like how much time was left of the episode and I was like 10 minutes. I was suspecting longer. So, I thought it was very fast paced. But overall, I really did enjoy this specific episode of Cloak and Dagger.
As for the series,
As far as the series, I will say I preferred this season a little bit more than the first. I know it's a shocker. um I feel like in the beginning of the show, I feel like I had, despite the fact that I was always talking about like Tandy's point of view and like was happening for Tandy, I honestly felt like my favorite character between the two was honestly Tyrone. I'm gonna be dead ass honest. I thought he was just my favorite of the whole series. The more we got into the show, the more I liked and appreciated Tandy and the things that she did. There were times where I just wanted to get like choke her and be like, "Ma'am, if you don't knock your shit off." But Tandy grew a lot on me, and I did overall, as weird as it is, because I'm still kind of new, but the whole Cloak and Dagger situation that's not rivals, despite the fact that we just finished it. I would recommend this show to people. I would. And the further we kept getting into the show, the more and more I was actually enjoying it. Should I give a number rating? Because I have one.
I mean, if you want to, but you just know how my rating system is on my channel. There's 0 to 13. There's the star
That's
rating of 0 to 7, and then there's the grading system of F minus to as high up as triple S.
What the fuck? That's too much. How do you function? How do I work with that?
You could just
I
do
just
your,
know my-
your normal shit if you want. I'm just saying that's my system.
Thank God. I'll do my system, chat. Listen, I'm more simplistic. All right. I'm going to do per season. I don't give a fuck. Season 1 of Cloak and Dagger. I actually don't remember if I talked about a rating, but anyway, I gave the first season of Cloak and Dagger a 7 out of 10, which I remember Vince being kind of like, whoa, really that high? Listen, I'm easy to please. I'm also confused easily, but I liked it. 7 out of 10. Cloak and Dagger season 2. I'm giving it an 8 out of 10. I liked it slightly more. Overall, for Cloak and Dagger, I'm just going to give it a 7.5, 8 out of 10. And I'll give it about a B+.
Alright. So, obviously, I'm going to have to go back into the show again, because for, like, my bigger review stuff, I'll be dissecting a few different things, getting some clips here and there to do a bigger production, but for now, I'm just going to say overall, for both seasons, Season 1 for me, although a great start, kind of sluggish when you're not the best attuned with a slow burn for just understanding a character's beginnings. I would say it's at least with the merit of a 7 to 7.5, so I'm going to only do 7.5. But Season 2 is where it hits its stride to where you could see that it could have gone another season. It could have told a further story. So, knowing what I do know, even with the flub-ups about Mayhem and Typhoid Mary, because they are part of their rogues gallery, so it's easy to make that distinction a different reality, especially when many different outlets are supporting your theory. I'm only going to say it is a 9 out of 10 for me on a regular scale, and giving it a whole different review rating at a later date. But that is the end of Cloak and Dagger Weekly, everyone, where we have been pre-recording these for some time. This is 2 days after doing a lot of stuff on 420. I am still in the afterglow of celebrating. But we will be, for you guys, taking a month off. For us, it might be a lot more like a week break, maybe less, for us to jump into the brand new weekly thing that we're doing, where we're gonna finally do something that Shan's been like, I kind of want to do this because I want to start from the beginning.
I've been waiting.
Where we're officially doing the Defenders saga involving Daredevil, Jessica Jones, Luke Cage, the Punisher, Iron Fist, all wrapped up into a beautiful package.
In chat, listen. I will be the first to say, and so y'all are aware, I have seen, despite not seeing Cloak and Dagger, I have only seen the first season of Daredevil. I'm in one episode of Jessica Jones. Could I tell you anything that happened in Jessica Jones? No, I could not. But I remember everything in season 1 of Daredevil. I'm excited to get back into it. And we're going to have a special guest on that episode because I feel like there's going to be a lot to cover.
Yeah. But anyway, guys, thank you for not only sitting through this, but for keeping up with everything, as this has been on a little bit of a hiatus for us to do all these pre-records. And hopefully when you guys get to the end of these things, I won't have to get a blow-up of subscribers like I did from the Merlin Weekly videos I made a decade ago. Like, at the time we're doing this, I'm almost at 720 subscribers, and I have, like, thousands upon thousands of views in my shit. I'm not even joking. But you guys be good people. Make great choices. Know that we all care about you out there, and
Take care of your beautiful selves.
I was gonna say, don't try to do a bank heist and then all of a sudden get transported because a guy was blowing a trumpet. That's just, you're going to a second location. That's not a smart idea.
Street smarts!
You see this money clip with my money? Go fetch! Street smarts!
Be divine impaired in other places.
Let me answer that question with another question.
What question is that?
Waffles and pancakes.